Carl, we're often accused of bullying you. This is a recurring thing, isn't it, that we bully you? But both of us, and Ricky in particular, is always concerned about your well-being, particularly in Alaska, if you recall.
You are not going to be eaten by a polar bear. But when you had your medical, I found out that you didn't let them test your prostate. Did you?
No. No. But that's...
Why not? In the UK alone, more people die every year from prostate cancer than being savaged by a polar bear.
It's a bit of a weird time to bring it up when I'm in the middle of nowhere.
It's one of the biggest killers, right? And that's just a simple test. So a doctor pops his finger up your anus and he goes, yep, you're all clear. And that's you relaxed for another year.
I don't understand why you're suddenly caring about this now. I've got little battery left on this phone. I'm wearing the battery out. If something happens, I'm dead.
Right.
He's my best mate. Sue me. I'm worried about him.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but why isn't there ever anything about how's your blood pressure? Or how are your feet? You're in the cold. Are you warm enough? No, there was none of that. It was,
yes, I know.
Why don't you get a finger up your arse?
Because often there are no symptoms.
Well, I don't want it done.
I know you don't, but it's good for you. So, can we bring the doctor out, please?
Right, well, this is a waste of time then.
This is Frank. That's Carl.
Frank, how's it going? You all right? Good to see you.
Is the consultant urologist at St Bart's?
Yeah, St Bart's.
Yeah.
The thing about prostate cancer is you can be perfectly well and yet still have prostate cancer. And one of the ways that we can detect if that may be a problem is a rectal examination.
The thing with just feeding...
I don't want a finger up the arse, though.
wait,
you keep
wait.
going on about this.
Right.
I've told you time and time again. I mean, I presume there's a lot of ill people knocking around that Frank should be looking at. Instead, he's here debating with you two whether he's going to shove his finger up my arse.
How long will it take if you did it now? If you went... No, wait, how long would it...
15 seconds.
15
That's
seconds.
a long time, as far as I'm concerned. What are you looking for?
What we're looking for, okay, there's two things we're looking for. One is the size of the prostate gland. Number two, it's the consistency of it. In other words, what it feels like. It's a quick, simple thing to do.
Carl, can I tell you what's going to happen? It's going to be about 10 seconds. He's going to say, you're all clear. You're going to say, what was the fuss about? And you know you haven't got prostate cancer.
But not today.
There's no better time.
Maybe it's that you and I and the cameras and that are making it a bit intense.
Oh, we've
maybe
got
if they went privately to another
We've got a private room.
it.
We've got a private room. You may as well check his testicles while you're there.
So what's the rules here? I mean, I know it's an important thing to have done.
Yeah.
But it's just the way they go about it. I've been travelling around the world in dangerous places. They've never cared about me before. Yet today they keep going on about having this done.
Men are embarrassed about these things, you know. We're not used to these things. But for the sake of something that really is very quick and painless, we're talking about potentially saving a life. And before you know it, it's done and it's over.
I know, but it's just...
I did this day in, day out.
That's what you do? Seriously, every day?
Yeah, every day of my working life, that's what I do.
And are you going to move up and get to do something better, or is this your future now, just sticking your finger up a fella's arse?
It's just part of the job, you know. A lot of time I spend in operating. A lot of time I spend in clinics.
So how many people are you doing a day?
10 to 20 maybe.
And which finger is it? Is it a big one or a little one?
It's the index finger.
Why is that? Why not just a little?
Because the prostate lies a little bit in. Get your hand, you just couldn't do that with your little finger.
So you're going round a corner, you've got to go in and round.
Then you've got to go in and then a slight twist. It's the thought is worse than the actual delivery. Let's put it that way. It's the thought of it.
All right.
And
okay. Let's do it then. Let's do it. Do you wear gloves?
Oh, yes.
Do you know Richard Blackwood?
Yes, the comedian. Yes.
Yeah, he had a colonic on telly. Never seen again.
I think that's far worse. So rest your pillow. Then what you need to do is you need to bend your knees up.
Yeah.
You need to pop that arm over there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get some lubricating gel. Or just right. So what I'm going to do is, if I may, I'm just going to pop your trousers down. Bend your knees up a bit more. Come towards me a bit more. So you're just going to marvelous. Okay. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. And out. Okay. And relax. Breathe normally. I'm just going to pop a finger in now. Okay. Deep breath. Well done.
Jesus.
Well done.
That's high up. Fucking hell. Right, that's surely enough, isn't it? Right, you're touching a lung.
Well done. Well done. I'll just look Your prostate's fine.
Hey!
Oh, God.
Well done.
Brilliant.
I don't think it's the sort of thing people pay a subscription for, to be honest. In HD.
Well done.
Cheers for that then, Frank. Now, you are a doctor, aren't you?
He just said to me, because he was shaking, because he said to me, and I quote, he said, oh, he's just whittering to himself, I must remember to eat next time Suzanne's away.
I know. I know.
I must remember to eat next time Suzanne's away.
No, but you did. I mean, I wonder if I lived on my own if I'd still be about. Because I just neglect myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for all I've eaten
A
this
lot of
morning,
self-abuse. Is that what you're
I
saying?
had lasagna last night that I messed up, right?
Why did you mess it
Cooked
up?
it for too long. It was like a brick. Right? And she called up and said, have you eaten? I went, yeah. She went, was it nice what you have? I said, lasagna. Was it nice? I thought, I don't want her to worry, because she's probably been out and had a good meal with all the work people.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say, well, I'm, you know...
And she went, okay, bye, bye. And I go, that car, yeah, I bet he cooked it like a brick. Yeah. I bet he threw it away. Anyway, gin and tonic.
And I had Scotch pancakes for breakfast. That is all I've had. So I'm starving, I'm shaky. Plus I've got that restless leg syndrome still going on, which I can't get rid of.
What's restless leg syndrome?
I find, if I go to bed, right, my body's tired but my legs aren't.
Are you like Michael Flatley?
You have to get up and do a bit of tap dancing.
Do they just keep going even
Just
when
keep
you're asleep?
moving about, so I have to get up and stretch them or something. Or I've worked out that if I put a pillar on, like, the bedpost down at the other end,
Yeah.
if I have my legs higher than my heart, it calms it down a bit.
Is this why Suzanne works away so often?
I don't know, it's weird.
To get a decent night's sleep.
I put it down to Smarties and that. It's like a sugar thing. But,
Stop eating them.
apparently Bob Mortimer's got it as well.
No, he's got arthritis.
Was he?
You told me
Yeah.
in the week that you've mastered moonwalking.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Is that
I'll
one of the
show
things you
that
did, like, in the middle of the night?
It's moon sleepwalking.
Yeah.
He just gets out, he finds himself walking backwards and
Yeah.
wakes up and goes, oh God, I'm brilliant. I'm brilliant at this.
Medical problems then. I've got a couple of things under the banner of colon then educate me.
Yeah.
We've got, this is interesting, right? Do you know if you have an operation on your brain, right, what they do is, I mean, this is why I'd never go to the doctors. I don't like doctors, because this sort of stuff freaks me out, right? They can operate on your brain, and what they do is, they put you to sleep first, cut your brain case open,
Your skull, yeah.
The brain case.
Yeah, yeah.
and then wake you up and operate on you. So you're sat there with your head open,
Yeah.
messing with your brain, and you don't feel anything.
Well, there's no nerve endings, is there, in the brain?
But still, it's not right, is it?
What, you think they do it for fun?
No,
They
but
go on, Reg, wake him up so he's all freaked out.
well,
on, wake
is it necessary that you're awake, do you think, or...
Well, they need the brain active, don't they?
Yeah, but it is when you're asleep, you're having mad dreams. I had a mad dream the other day.
Go on.
No, I might tell you about it later, but there's no sense to it. But, so your brain's still...
So it's this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it'll turn out, I go, no, Carl, I was there, that wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but... So, I mean, if I had an operation...
On your brain, heaven forbid.
Well, operation anywhere, I'd like to sort of think, well, I'll have an injection, I'll go asleep, but when I wake up, it'll all be sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that
Your brain case is open.
and they wake you up and you think, oh, is it all done? And they say, well, have a look in the mirror. And your brain...
See, I don't think they do that. I don't think they try and frighten you when you're doing an operation.
Yeah, I don't think that you go about your business and they sort of follow you around, dabbling.
Yeah.
No, but it's almost like they are having a bit of a laugh with you.
Right, well, I'd just like to say now that they don't. Anyone who's going in for an operation on their head, do not ever listen to anything
But
Carl says.
why have you got to be awake? Because you'll be bored anyway, you'll be sat there. They'll
Well,
be
they
messing
give you a
about.
telephone directory look, and they say, look how many Macs are in there. That's the Scottish telephone directory. And, you know, time flies when you're counting that sort of thing.
No, but do you know, like, when you...
What are you telling me? What are you
I'm just
asking
saying
me?
how weird it is. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, do you know when you go for a haircut, right? It's a bit embarrassing. Well, I don't anymore, but when you go for a haircut, it used to be a
When
bit...
you go for a haircut.
It used to be a bit embarrassing when, like, they'd wet your hair and they'd make you have that sort of Hitler cut because your hair's wet, and I used to hate it, and I think, do you have to do that? Do you know what I mean? You know
It's
what I mean,
similar.
don't
It's
you?
very similar to open skull
No,
surgery.
but what I'm
yeah.
saying is, it's almost like barbers like to do that to make you look daft and feel daft for a bit, and there's women coming in and out, and you're sat there with a daft haircut.
Yeah.
And this is what that reminds me of.
Do you think they do it in a shop window? This brain operation?
I'm just saying, it's a bit
Do you
weird.
think they do it? Why are we doing it in John Lewis's? Just so more
I
people
love
can
the idea that that's what doctors are doing. Let's make this guy look a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Open his brain
Look
case.
at the twatty look with his brain out of his head.
Take a Polaroid, Reg. Take
Yeah,
a Polaroid.
Polaroid. Look at him. Look at his face. Right, clock his face when I give him the mirror. Get this on camera.
Put
Carl-
this fake nose and glasses
Sorry,
on.
if that did you teach me something then? Was that
Well, I've
educational?
taught you that your brain case can be open with your awake, and you just sat there sort of letting them get on with it.
Brilliant. I've learned that. I'll never forget that. Right, go on. Anything else?
So we'll move on to this next one, right, which is brilliant.
Go on
Dead
then.
short story. So, right, old woman, about 70 years old. She's normally fit and healthy and stuff. Nothing wrong with her. She's having a good life. And one day she goes for a check to the doctors, just to check herself out. 'Cause she's getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Says take your clothes off and that. So she does, and checks her out. Says yeah, you're looking good. You're looking good. Turn round. He said, oh God. He says, you got a tumour on your buttock. Right? So she goes, oh, what, can you do anything to sort it out? So they go, yeah, we could book you in for an operation. It's best if we remove this. Books are in for an operation. Operation day comes, strip her down and that. They're all stood round, the doctors. Start to operate. It only turns out it's a pork chop that she sat on 5 years earlier, and it had stuck to her buttock.
Right, Carl.
I can forward you. Listen. Serious.
Right, okay, Carl. I'm telling you now. I'm leaving. I'm never doing this show again.
No, I'm serious. Honestly.
You're talking. I've never had such. You are. Play a record. Play a record.
I can't believe it.
What do you mean you can't believe it? Stop the record. Stop the record. Stop the record. Right, okay. Right, what do you mean you couldn't believe it?
No, when I read it, I said I've got to tell Ricky
This
that.
woman had a pork chop stuck to her arse for 5 years, you mental case. Of course she didn't.
This the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it now? Listen, the fella.
Play a
No, listen.
record.
Do you want, alright.
Alright, no, come on, alright, he's got it now.
Go on.
This fella goes to the doctors, right?
Oh, right, okay. Right, if this isn't any way apocryphal, stupid, illogical, impossible, right, you are never, ever speaking again on radio. So make sure this is at least possible. I'll tell you what, I'll even give you improbable, but possible. So if anything that breaks the laws of the universe or logic, okay, that's all you have to avoid. On you go.
Right, so this fella, right, he goes to the doctors because he's got earache.
Right. Okay, if a chimp's living in his brain...
Go on.
Go on.
So he's got earache, he's sat in the waiting room and it's all, his ear's all bunged up and it's hurting a lot and what have you. So the doctor comes out and he goes, right? And because his ear's all bunged up, he doesn't hear it that well, right? So he thinks it must have been me, right? So he wanders in.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Anyway,
I'm gonna hate this. I can just feel it in my bones. Steve, I'm gonna let you take over. Okay,
Let's hear it. Come
So
on.
the doctor says, sit yourself down there, right? So he sits himself down, he goes, right, take your pants off, right? So he's thinking that's a bit odd. Anyway, he
heard that though.
he apparently he took his tackle off. The doctor, like, did some operation.
What, there in the waiting room?
No, in his office.
In his office, yeah.
What?
Wait, so he removed what? His genitals?
Yeah.
In his office?
Why, Carl? Why, Carl?
Because he hadn't called him in.
Are we calling the bloke who wanted his testicles taken off? And he didn't hear it. What? So the doctor went out and said, Mr. Jones, who's here to whip off your cock and balls, just here and now, right? Bloke comes in, didn't it? It must have been me. So the bloke who wanted his balls taken off didn't say, oh, I think he said me. So he didn't interrupt then. So the bloke goes in, he starts taking his testicles off, and he doesn't say I'm in.
Right.
What's been going on? What's been going on?
I've been to hospital. I was rushed to hospital, right, emergency and that. Had a tube put on my knob.
You had a tube put up your knob?
Yeah.
What's the story?
Kidney stones.
Ooh.
So, shouldn't really be here, to be honest, doing this. He said rest. And that. Climbing them stairs on the way in.
To be quite honest, it doesn't look like you're expending a lot of energy at the moment. It's like at Zookeeper going, oh, that sloth move today. Calm down.
Yeah, but I had to get here. It's been raining.
Yeah.
I had to come up the stairs. I had to carry the computer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not entirely true because your girlfriend was carrying it. I saw her outside.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
And then you handed it to me and said, "Steve, carry this."
Almighty.
Yeah, I know.
That's already a lie.
Christ almighty. Whinging.
Not whinging.
I'm in show business. I know loads of people that wake up every day with a sore knob, feeling like they've had their kidneys probed, and they would say they're unconscious. So they don't whinge about it. They get straight back onto it. They, a lot of them on TV now.
Yeah, straight back to hosting game shows.
So you're rushed to hospital.
So take us through the events because it does sound quite dramatic. You started feeling a bit of pain, did you initially?
I felt a bit of pain, and I thought, maybe I just pulled a muscle or something when I've been wrestling with Ricky and that, because you don't know what damage is being done. So I just think, it'll go in a minute, and then it didn't. It got a bit badder.
It got badder, did it?
So then I thought, I
dear.
was crippled. I was lying on the floor in agony, looking on the internet, looking for sort of
Still looking at
solutions.
Monkey News.
No, I just put in like bellyache and stuff, and they were saying it can be loads of different things. And what I used to do when I was a kid, I used to always just get a cold ashtray and put that on my belly, and the coldness used to get rid of the badness.
Amazing.
The coldest got away.
What, like a witch doctor?
yeah.
This is like
A witch doctor happens to work in a pub.
it's like some sort of 5th century remedy,
Yeah.
written in mud.
Yeah.
Coldness doth get away with the badness.
Why specifically an ashtray?
Just because they sort of old cold.
They're old cold.
I don't know what this is. I love this idea that he's had the operation and he comes round and they're talking to him and his girlfriend gets a phone call and they say, Mr. Pilkington's maybe complications. He's just talking rubbish. She goes, oh, good.
Yeah, he's back to his old self. What? Why specifically an ashtray? Sorry, because it's old cold. I understand it's old cold.
Yeah, we understand. Everyone who's done a medical degree understands old cold, but old cold belly madness. If you want to buy that book, Old Cold Belly Madness, it's the history of abdominal surgery by Karl Pilkington.
No, it just
But you put it in the freezer or something first?
you can do if you want, but they're normally cold anyway. It's sort of thick glass and that holds the cold. But we don't smoke in our house, so I had to use a plate.
Oh, well, that's madness. A plate's not going to work. Famously, a plate doesn't work.
No! Oh,
So you put a plate on your belly, but that didn't do any.
That didn't work. So called Suzanne and said, "Oh, I'm in agony here." She said, "Go to the doctors then."
Good advice.
So
A lot of people have done that straight away, as opposed to going through the plate ashtray.
So he went to hospital and he went to hospital and he said, have you got an ashtray?
They went no an ashtray.
This is no smoking.
So anyway, so then we get in a cab and what have you, go there. I have an X-ray,
His voice is even more boring than usual,
Extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
Fuck me.
and they put me on a drip and everything, give me some morphine and stuff, and found out that I had kidney stones. So that's why I was in hospital. And they get them out by, I don't know what's gone on, to be honest. I've got some tube inside me, from my kidney to my bladder. That's helping me stuff get about.
And so there's a little tube up the end of your knob into your...
Yeah, it's not there now, it's high up.
Right.
So it's high up between my kidney and my bladder.
But why didn't you have the thing where they go in the side? You had the choice to...
Because I said to the doctor, I said, I'm not a doctor. I said, what do you
He
think?
went, stop putting yourself down, Carl.
He said,
We need you in the operating theatre now.
he just said, I said to him, what should I have done? Because he said, if you want, go home, and we'll get you in again or something. Something like that. And I said, no, I might as well have it done properly. Have it done now whilst I'm here.
Sorry, the choice was have it done properly or go home.
It was something like that. He said there's something you can do, and I said, oh,
Flush it out.
no, because it's too big. It's something like 7 millimeters.
And it's basically because you don't drink enough water.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, what do you think I should have done? And he said, tube up the knob. And I said, not my favourite one of the choice, but if that's what you think. So he said, yeah, have that. He did me little diagrams, which didn't help. He was like showing.
How big did he draw your knob?
Sort of normal size.
Yeah, was it?
It was all right.
You weren't offended by them?
But he wanted into detail. It's just, more the tubes and stuff in your bladder and your kidney.
What was your ball bag like? Did he draw that?
He didn't do that bit. He left that bit out.
Okay, right.
But he said, we'll just pop that up there, and then that's when Ricky turned up to visit. Came in laughing at me because we sat there in like my underpants and stockings.
In stockings?
Yeah.
Why were you?
He was there. No, he wasn't in bed. He was sort of out of bed with his little drip, right? He had his little boxer shorts on, just sat there, right, in his pants, right, and he had stockings on.
Yeah, because they stop clots or something. They put them on your legs. It's like, when people have got big veins and they go on a plane.
Right. Yeah.
You said you're not a doctor.
No, but I've seen it because Suzanne's mum did it, and she put them on ridiculously early, like 3 days before we were going away. And I've never been away before, and everything was like over the top. Do you know what I mean? She's like, best put them on. And so I put them on, and they I don't know what it is. It's something when you're under, your blood doesn't move about the same,
Right.
and it can clot up in your leg. So you wear these tight tights.
And I came in to cheer him up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was that a nice cheery experience, him coming in?
I had a headache at the time. I think I was a bit stressed out.
Well, he's just the man you wanted at that point.
Yeah.
He reassured you, I imagine.
Well, it's weird how it suddenly all happened quick. It was like as soon as he came in, it's like they got the finger out. And when I say
Not
that,
literally.
I
Yeah.
suddenly I was being rushed down to, have my stuff done. And I woke up and there was an Irish woman over me going, "Are you all right? You all right?" And I said, "Oh, it's stinging a bit." She said, "I'll give you some more morphine." And I sort of put my head up to have a look at my tackle because I wanted to see
If it was still there.
what was attached to it. Do you know what I mean? Because they said something about they might leave some string hanging out of it so they can pull the tube out.
It makes you talk.
So I had a look for that. Couldn't see any of that.
Yeah.
But as you put the morphine in, all the muscles in your body go funny. My head just collapsed.
Your head collapsed.
I sort of looked up to look at my stuff, but then she said, "Oh, you just need a little bit of morphine," and she put that in, and I just sort of went, oof. And then they sent me home about 2 hours after. But I'm in agony now, and
Are you in agony right now as we speak?
yeah, it's hurting.
Now, are you a man who's had this kind of hospital experience before? Is this your whole first time?
I don't go do it to hospitals and stuff because I don't like them messing about. But it does make you think now. Do you know what I mean? Like life and everything. It's weird how it's all happened in the last month. From seeing that bee sort of die.
No,
Well, not really.
No. This is not a near-death experience.
It is
You
a
had a
little bit.
routine operation to remove kidney stones because you don't drink enough water.
No, I know, but
This is not a shark attack.
yeah, but it's all life-threatening. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to fill out forms, would you? Saying if everything goes wrong, Suzanne can have the house or whatever. And then you find out more about the body as well, which has been sort of doing me head in a bit. You're more aware of stuff in your body, which I don't like knowing about.
Yeah.
They keep checking your heartbeats and stuff, and your blood pressure. I don't like knowing about that. I just leave it. It's happening. Don't be messing with it. Stop measuring it.
Stop measuring it!
No, do you know what I mean?
That's the same with a knob.
It's that thing of like, they put that thing
That's what
on.
the anaesthetist was doing when you were under, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was comparing the diagram to the actual thing.
Oh, God.
The fella across the way from me had the same thing as me, but he'd had it a couple of days ago when he was in agony. So that doesn't help when he's saying, "Oh, I've been to hell and back." Like, don't tell me that.
Sure.
I don't want to know. Just say it was all right and stuff. So it just the whole thing of a hospital is stressful. Do you know what I mean? They wake you up like every half an hour in the night, saying, "How do you feel?" It's like, "Well, what, it's 3:30. What are you doing?" I've got to have it done again in a couple of weeks because what they've done now, they've popped that straw up, but the stone's still in there because they didn't have the laser team in with them. Blast the stone, and then that time they're probably going to leave a little bit of string out the end. Then I have to go back 3 days later and they pull it out. I was out the other day, right? A woman came up to me. She said, "Oh, excuse me, you go to the gym much?" So I I was going to lie, but they find out, don't they? They say, where do you go and all that, and how many star jumps can you do? She said, I know what's probably putting you off. She said, the fact that it's hard work. She said, it doesn't need to be hard work. She said, come to my class. She said, what we do on Wednesday nights, breathing classes. Classes teaching you how to breathe. I said, I'm 32, I think I've got the hang of it. She said, no, it's not that. I said, forget it. See, I think the reason there's so many gyms in London is because of the amount of gay people who are here now. And I'm not having a go. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, gay people, they always sort of like to look after themselves, don't they? They're always sort of muscly and that, sort of tight t-shirts and stuff whenever you see them. And you know what I mean? I'm not looking out for them. I'm just saying, when I do see them, they're sort of muscly and that. So because there's more of them, more gyms are needed. But then the problem is, the more gyms we have, the less other shops we have, because the space they take up. The other weekend, I just wanted to do some painting and decorating in the flat. Right? Thought, right, I need some brushes and some paint. You wouldn't think that'd be hard to find in London, yet couldn't find anywhere. Couldn't find any sort of hardware shop, DIY shop. Yeah, if I had an urge to do some sit-ups, you know what I mean, I'd be spoilt for choice. I look in some of my girlfriend's magazines, and it's all like, you know, eat this, don't eat that, drink water. The amount of times people are telling me, oh, you don't drink enough water, you. Your dad's like 60 odd, right? I've never seen him have a pint of water, yet they're telling us we should have like 7 pints a day or something. And then they wonder why there's a water drought on. There's a fella on the telly the other week who was saying we only get so many heartbeats in a lifetime, so we shouldn't be wasting them, should we? We shouldn't be running around lifting weights and all that. Now look at the tortoise. Never rushes about, right? Yeah, it lives to be about 250 years old. You know what I mean? When's the last time you heard about a tortoise having a heart attack? Doesn't happen. And they keep coming up with daft ways of sort of keeping fit, don't they? Paintball. You know what I mean? Chucking paint at each other. I don't know where they're getting the paint from.
We get on to, I said, well, things are, I said, we can see the speed of evolution in lower life forms like bacteria, viruses, they evolved, and that's why, soon we won't have an antibiotic that can kill some certain bacterial strains. And he said, and this was about, 11:30, and I said, I'm going to bed, right? He said, in the future, they reckon that you'll be able to wake up and eat a yogurt you can have a chat with.
I don't know what that means.
Let's put a song on, right? I'll come back to it.
So you're going to explain that?
Yeah.
You've got an explanation?
He said, they reckon, and I said, I'm going to bed. He went, no, really? I said, no, I'm going to bed, Carl. There's no point now, because, I mean, it's just like you're talking gobbledygook. You know what I mean? I might as well talk to a pot plant.
Yeah.
He said, in the future, they reckon, I don't know who they are.
Sure.
I don't know, people who post things on the internet that he reads. I think
the Telegraph.
Anyway, complete the sentence.
They reckon that in the future you'll be able to wake up. I love it. There's always a little scenario, an embellishment, like this little. Oh, hello, darling. It's your yogurt. Hello. You'll be able to wake up and eat a yogurt you can have a chat with.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Rick. I'm looking at you. I'm going to throw that over to Carl.
Right, it's when I was away on holiday, right? I got. I don't normally buy the Telegraph because it's too big and that, isn't it? So, but they were giving it away for free on the plane, so I thought,
ding dong,
might as well have it. And I saw a couple of things in it. I thought that would be interesting. I saw this thing about the future, and it was talking about evolution and what have you, right? Which I always find weird, because I always think that maybe we've sort of done it wrong anyway. Do you know what I mean? I sometimes think
you can't by definition, evolution can't get things wrong. Things change, that it's not successful, it can't pass on its genetic material, or but if you're around, it's working. If you're around, it's working. Slugs are as evolved as they need to be. Slugs are as evolved as you and me.
That's true enough.
No, yeah. No disrespect, but it works. It works.
Sorry,
they're around.
anyway, what's your point, Carl?
no, I mean, I think we probably would have been better off staying as a fish. Just because there's more water than land, isn't there?
Right.
And you wouldn't drown.
This is why I went to bed.
No, I can imagine. I'm thinking of dozing off now.
No, but do you know what I mean? From, what was it? It was bacteria, it was fish, mermaid, man, onwards and what have you. So anyway.
Oh God!
No,
there are a few knowledge gaps in your theory of evolution.
You generally got it right though, so
I mean, basically, yeah, it went bacteria, fish, mermaid, man. What next is the big question.
So it was telling you all about this and what have you, and saying how, like, we shouldn't have interfered, because maybe if we wouldn't have invented planes and what have you, maybe we'd be able to fly and what have you, if we really needed to and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we've interfered with evolution, you see.
Right.
But then it was saying, well, what's the future got?
Well, yes, in one way we have interfered with evolution. Yeah, the evolution of the human being in society is changing. It's no longer based on the strongest or the fittest, because medical science can keep us alive long enough. People can pass on their genetic material where without this civilization they wouldn't have been able to. So yeah, there are different parameters, there are different pressures, there are different things that say whether we're going to pass on our genetic material or not. Okay, so in that sense you're right.
And that, Rick, as far as I'm aware, has led to a yogurt that you can eat and have a conversation with. So
this is what it was saying. It was just saying, you know, we're living in mad times and that. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
One of which is...
Go on. And the fellow was just saying, you know, with computers and stuff like that, the way it is, we'll be able to wake up...
Go on.
Have a chat with your yogurt and have something to eat.
What do you mean, have a chat with your yogurt?
Because of the amount of... I mean, you have them yogurts already, those friendly yogurts. Those bacteria-friendly ones, so this is just a really friendly one.
Yeah, they don't... Oh God! I might burst! Do you know what, sometimes, Carl, I think that we're having a chat with a yogurt. Do you know what I mean? There can't be any difference.
Yeah, but then I'm always reminded that would be more entertaining. That would be more informative.
I'm intrigued to know how you...
Why wasn't he looking both ways?
I'm intrigued to know how you get run over. What was it, 1629?
Yeah. Well, it's horses and that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, why wasn't he looking both ways? Karl Pilkington, you are a genius.
Like I say, it's been a struggle. We'll do that. We'll do Cheeky Freak of the Week. Do you want to?
Oh, definitely. Should we do Cheeky Freak of the Week?
Cheeky Freak of the Week?
I can't wait. I'll always do these. I'd start off with these.
Alright, well, let's have the jingle for Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Oh no.
Do you remember it?
No.
I remember it.
Oh. Oh, Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Brilliant.
Something like that?
I want some more though, because that was slightly half-high.
Oh, Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Excellent.
Right. This we're going back again.
Yeah, 17th century?
Well, it was 1829, right?
Oh. I'm impressed.
Now the problem is with Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Not so much the week, is it, if you're going back to 1829?
Well...
Not even of the century. You haven't even done Cheeky Freak of the century.
There's...
What's the problem with Cheeky Freak of the Week?
Just because...
Other than the sort of moral implications.
Yeah! Yeah.
Well, last week, it was a fellow with two heads.
Yeah.
We've done Siamese twins. It's Siamese twins again.
Oh,
No, it was Siamese
again.
twins. It wasn't a fellow with two heads last week. It was Siamese twins. Conjoined twins, sorry. They're two different people. This is what I'm telling you.
But this is the problem. They're going to crop up quite a lot just because they've got double a chance. Alright?
Oh, please don't write in and complain. He knows not what he does. You understand, don't you? Carl will actually feature one day in this section.
Yeah.
So, right, go on,
Well,
Carl.
we're going back to 1829.
Yeah.
All the way back there to
This is a
1829.
retro conjoined twin link.
A couple of guys set up a business. They were called Chang and Ang.
Oh, they're the first. That's why they're called Siamese twins, because they wasn't that what it was based on? Those two, Chang and Ang.
Was it?
The original, yeah. That's why they're called Siamese twins, 'cause I think they were Siamese.
So these are the first ones.
Well, not the first ones, but they're the
First
ones
one.
that got to fame, I think, and why people started calling them. The people started calling them conjoined twins, Siamese twins. I think I'm right there.
Anyway.
Good. Well, the sort of set up business, sort of going around the US
Well, both of them.
and Europe, yeah.
Yeah.
And what they used to do, people were amazed by it anyway. But
Yeah.
people wanted to know how they get through life doing certain things that you think about when you think about Siamese twins. You think about, you know, how do you get through a day like that?
Yeah.
and the thing that cropped up the most with people was how they take a bath. So they used to go on tour around the US and Europe and sit in a bath, have a wash and that. And
did they ever wash each other by mistake? They go, oh, that ends there, like those things in supermarkets. They put one of those down. We go, oh.
What do you mean?
Put that there.
What do you mean?
You know the things on the conveyor belt, the little
dividers.
Yeah.
They wind me up, those dividers.
Now, it's Chang and Ang, they're in the bath, they're washing their own bits, they got one of those dividers, right? They go, well, that's definitely yours. I marked mine. That's definitely mine.
What?
Don't wash that, Chang. I wouldn't, Ang. I wouldn't wash that. Right? So what are they doing? They're in the bath. Carry on with the story.
That's about it, really. I mean, that's the fact that people...
So, two little Oriental fellas joined in the hip, had a bath.
No.
That's your story.
No, they didn't have a bath. They sort of, everybody, they must have done some sort of research, right?
Who?
Chang and Ang, right? And they said, well, what do people want to see?
Isn't that basically Roller's song?
But it's an idea that people have queued up. They've paid their money. They're in a tent. They're, well, I hear they're going to have a bath. They're going to have a bath. Two Siamese people have a bath. How would they possibly do it? Well, I've heard they get into a bath.
But that's
I don't know what
they
what's
wanted to see
exciting.
them nude and where the join was.
No.
More than how do you get in the bath?
I don't know. They just that's what they picked. They said what would be good to see. What do you want to see them do?
Having a bath.
How'd you get into trousers? Was there
Exactly. This is all part of it, isn't it? That's why they picked having a bath.
This is all part of it. Well, then watch them get dressed afterwards.
Yeah.
Who was the best out of Chang and Ang? Who was your favourite?
They both look the same, to be honest.
There's a surprise. One was a short ginger woman. Oh dear.
Is there anything you know? What would be better than having a bath for you when you're seeing them? What would sort of make you go? Oh, I wonder.
One of them pulling and the other one going home alone.
Yeah.
I go like, look, she's definitely up for it. I'm taking her home. I go, oh, what am I going to do? Can I watch? Definitely not. Definitely not. Look, you go to bed. I want to wine and dine her.
But if he's got back to their place and they're going at it hammer and tongs, but only saying one of them.
No, hammer and tongs were their cousins.
Right.
They lived miles away.
Yeah. If one of them gets knackered, can the other one take over?
God, I think we could play a record.
That annoys me.
What?
That sort of being at it all night.
What do you mean?
Let's put a song and I'll come back.
What do you mean?
The controversial cheeky freak of the week, where Carl finds a human being with some sort of congenital or imposed deformity, or so and we talk about that in a wry way. Do you think that's big and clever?
No, but that's just it. It's never about taking the mickey out of someone, right? It's to make you think.
I'll tell you what isn't big and clever.
How lucky you are.
A dwarf with learning difficulties.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
We'll explain it to you. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, He Wants You.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, Carl, off you go.
Well, we're not going to do Freak of the Week here,
Okay.
right? Because we've done quite a bit of that in the last 20 minutes, right?
We've
So we'll
OD'd
move
on
that.
freaks, you think?
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll just shift it a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't, like I keep saying, don't want people to be thinking we're sort of taking the mick out of anyone.
No.
Right? Because we're not about that. I feel that, like, I can do a little bit of it because I work with you, Steve.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
It gives me that right.
It's like a care worker. Yeah, I understand.
Well, it's like that thing of you can't be homophobic because I've got a couple of gay mates and stuff.
Sure.
I think it sort of gives me that edge.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're not freakophobic because you work with Steve?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, yeah.
Okay,
Well, by that token, I should be able to sort of slag off, the mentally ill.
What do you mean?
At least mentally handicapped.
Now there's a term you don't hear very often. In 2003, there was the
mentally handicapped. Isn't that what it was?
I don't know where to start.
But
I'd like to apologise for the Lady Diana stuff, the term mentally handicapped, and any inadvertent racism that we may have stumbled
What's
over.
the actual term then? Is it retarded?
Right, are we having Cheeky Freak of the Week?
Do you want to do it?
What
Yeah.
time have you got to show off?
Could do with shooting off sort of soonish,
Okay.
to be honest.
This is not radio. Have you ever heard that on a radio show? Chris Tarrant going, I can't shoot off right now. I couldn't get a later train.
I know! Wouldn't you get a later train?
There isn't
a later train. So I couldn't get to Cornwall tonight if I had to. If I had to finish this show, I couldn't possibly get to Cornwall.
Rubbish. Of course there's a later train.
Oh, I've booked it now anyway.
Right, well that's the point, isn't it? Yeah, you're not falling through.
Whatever. I don't think the show's lost anything. I think we've still had the, Freak of the Week's coming up now.
Oh, cheeky! Freak of the Week.
Right, well, we've had some interesting things we've been looking at. This week, it's about the strangest couple that ever got married.
And we've had 2 sets of chimps, so it's stranger than that. Oh, it's not Dale Winton and Nell McAndrew,
It's not your parents, is it?
Well, we're going back again to about, I think this is about 19...
Something like that.
1940.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Strangest couple, a fella, right? He had skin of a lizard.
He had the skin of a lizard, okay.
And the woman who he
Which he
married...
used as a condom.
The woman who he married, airiest woman ever.
Right.
And that was their act. They used to tour the world, and they'd say, it's like, couple who've met, they're having a great life. Let's get them out on stage, here they are. And they'd
What do you mean he had a skin of a lizard, first of all?
That's what it said. He had some sort of, some illness.
So he was called Lizard Man, and you liked that because it was good description.
I thought that's good.
I'm here, hello, we've booked a table for 2. Who are you meeting? I'm meeting Lizard Man. Oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
You know he is, right?
Yeah.
I'm meeting the hairiest woman in the world. She's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did they do for their act?
Now, bear in mind that we had some Siamese twins last week, and their act was having a bath.
yeah.
So I hope it's an improvement on that.
What did Lizard Man? He came out and ate some flies, did he?
I don't really know. I just think they stood there and that.
Yeah, when you read this and it goes the most interesting fact ever, Lizard Man, and you go, that's enough. That's enough. I can extrapolate from that.
But straight away I start thinking. I'm thinking, right. I wonder if they got the wedding photos. Right? And then, like it said, that they had a kid.
Oh, what would that be like?
Exactly.
It'd be like an ostrich, wouldn't it? It would sort of like.
That's what I was thinking.
What did you think it would come out like, the baby?
I didn't think what that looked like. I just was thinking, parents' evening. You
wouldn't want them coming up to the school, would you?
So little Johnny, who starts off relatively normal, he's quite good at, he's good at nature, isn't he? And his mum and dad come into the room and they'd be looking around, wouldn't they?
Well, it's always like that thing at school when, like, you find out your mate's mum and dad are really old.
Right,
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
When you go, your gran and granddad bought you?
Yeah.
Mum and dad.
Yeah.
And you go, oh.
It is weird.
What's that we're talking about? He calls him mum. What was that? Oh, sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's always strange. If you had Godzilla and King Kong as your parents, and it was,
they're always fighting.
They're always fighting, and like you say, if you're in a school play or something, you wouldn't tell them, would you? You wouldn't want them coming out with a video camera.
He didn't tell his parents he was in the. When we were.
Well, exactly.
You did Little Donkey. You didn't tell your dad, did you? And he came along and videoed it.
Yeah.
Kept
it quiet. Don't want them to know anything.
But you didn't. What was it? You was meant to be playing. You had a little drum, didn't you?
Yeah, I was doing. I had a little drum. I think I was meant to be playing We Three Kings.
Yeah.
But he started doing Little Donkey, and I thought I can add a touch to this.
Sure, you improvised.
Started playing along.
It was like the first remix, wasn't it?
It went down well. But yeah, that's what I was thinking with the Freak of the Week this week. That's what I'm saying about Freak of the Week. It's to get people thinking, right? Thinking how lucky they are that they don't have to
comb their face. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Freak of the Week is to let people know how lucky they are.
Just.
What about the little freak you're talking about? What are they thinking? They're going, oh, he's talking about me. I'm a little hairy lizard man on a stick.
Pop in, give us a call. That's what I'd like to do on a TV programme. That's what I want to do. I want to go and, like, meet these people and say, right, let's just go shopping, we'll film what your normal day's like.
Yeah.
Let's pop out. nip into Sainsbury's or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, buy a comb.
Park right up close to it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So what you're saying is you just want to get a little message out there, which is that there's always someone worse off than you.
Well, there's proof of that in this room. You know what I mean?
I just think it's a shambles. I've asked for Cheeky Freak of the Week, and it appears that Carl's not ready. He's not prepared.
No, I can sort of remember it. It's just that I like to have all the information.
Contempt for
But
the
you've
listener.
you've just had a whole bunch of adverts and placebo in order to get you ready.
We're chatting, we're having a chat and that.
Right, do you want to sort yourself out in future?
Yeah, someone that's what we were chatting about. Someone emailed in about they watched the £200 tumour thing, and when it was removed, it was carried away in a wheelbarrow, right? Carl said, what, even when she had it removed, she still carried it round in a wheelbarrow? And he went, I thought it's sort of like she'd become attached to it. I mean, you definitely are my favourite thing in the world. It's great. Look at the way he's looking back.
But I think they're all the same. The people, I mean, I have had more emails about people saying I watched the £200 tumour
and I shaved me arse
than anything else.
I know.
When we ask
we
questions
come
about
up with
science,
science, we talk, yeah.
Nothing,
High
silence.
concept, we talk about political issues.
One person emailed in, they said, I tuned into the £200 tumour documentary, it looked disgusting, I couldn't watch for long. What were you expecting?
Yeah.
That it might sing and dance? Do a little show for you?
Oh,
Anyway, so what's the
these are
situa-
really your listeners, Carl. Now, I think you know what I mean. You sort of find your niche, you attract your. I think me and Steve are pretty much just here.
I think the people that we had in the early days, Rick, they've long since abandoned us. They jumped ship.
They've got jobs.
Yeah.
They've got jobs. They're out now. They've been released.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're getting their life back together.
Carl,
Come
so
on then,
what's the
Carl.
situation with Cheeky Freak?
I've got like a couple of bits. Like I say, I haven't got the in-depth stuff that I normally...
Oh no, because usually it's you know, it's
Heavily
pretty
researched.
scientific. Exactly. Yeah. Do the jingle. We've come up with a new one, haven't we?
The Freak! Say chic!
Cheeky Freak of the Week.
Right, well, couple of bits. I don't know which one to use as the main feature for this week.
It's that good, is it?
Well, there's been another one born.
What?
Little kid.
Who on?
4 eyes.
Insult? Just a guy who wears glasses, come on.
4 eyes, 2 noses, 2 mouths. That's weird, isn't it?
This bloke, did he also have 2 heads, 2 bodies? Sort of born sort of slightly separately?
He wasn't stood next to a mirror.
No, it's weird that, isn't it?
That's all you've got, is it?
I love that. That's weird. That. Imagine if the doctor said that. Well, Mrs. Parks, kid's got 4 eyes and 2 noses. Weird, isn't it? Any clues? Any clues?
So that's it. That's all the
one.
information
Well, I'll
you've
tell you
got.
what,
No, but
that
again-
shouldn't be the main one. Okay,
No,
I've answered
but
it.
like I say, what's the idea of this feature? What do I say all the time?
Don't know.
I always say, think about it. Think about what that would be like.
Okay.
What? Giving birth to him?
No. Being, I think it's a girl. Being like her. 2 mouths. 4 eyes. What would that be like? Mad, innit?
I don't know what this feature is.
I don't know why. Is there another one? Is that you said?
I mean, I hope everyone took the opportunity there during that silence to just think about what it would be like. I know I was.
Could she talk with a mouthful?
What?
Is that allowed?
Because she's got 2 mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that be alright in her house?
She'd be eating
Yeah,
one,
she can talk with one mouth and eat with the other. I
Right, well
suppose.
listen, the main one, right, you've thought about that, that's good. The main Cheeky Freak of the Week, I haven't got all the details. Smallest person ever. Right? How big would you say that is?
Carl is now sort of like holding his hands up like a fisherman, long ways. That's about 1 foot.
Right. Smallest man in the world. I printed the thing off and I can't find it. There's a little picture of him. Right? The odd thing was...
But why have you asked me how... Did it say, or was it a picture of him?
I didn't really read it.
Of course you
Oh,
didn't.
for
Of course you didn't.
Jesus.
I just saw it and thought, oh, that's...
What,
that's
you
that, that's
straight away
sorted.
assumed it was natural size?
It was that big.
But what do you mean it was that big?
Little fella, like that.
But why are you doing that? What? It was a page with a little fella. How do you know that was natural size?
No, it was, because it said it's world's smallest man. And the funny thing is, I've read the first line, I always read the first line, it said, world's
Well
smallest
done,
man.
well done.
The weird thing is, he got an head like a light bulb. The shape of it, apparently. I don't know if that's got anything to do with his shape and size.
Oh, God.
That big.
His name's Mr. Watts.
And the annoying thing is, what got me is, if you're that big,
Yeah.
right, don't have your picture taken next to a fruit bowl.
Why was he having his photo taken next to a fruit bowl?
Don't know. Whoever the photographer was, obviously having a bit of a laugh
Yeah.
at his expense. Because you would just stand in the middle of nowhere, you'd look normal and that, but he was stood there, just leaning on an apple.
Leaning on an apple?
What is this? In what world do you inhabit?
No, this was on the internet. And I printed it
Leaning
off.
on an apple? Was it Tom Thumb? What is this? Are you sure it wasn't some sort of sci-fi show they're advertising?
No, it was
Leaning on it. Can you, sorry, can you just lean on the apple? Just lean on the apple there. Do me a favour, will you stand next to my chihuahua? You're not taking the piss, are you? No, not at all, no. Would you mind leaning on this matchbox?
Yeah.
Leaning on an apple. And that's what, so he just said he's the world's smallest man leaning on an apple.
smallest man, said about his head being like a light bulb, I don't know what that meant. And I just thought, right, that'll do, that's that sorted, Cheeky Freak of the Week done. I think that was on like Monday, right? I found that, I thought that's done. Printed it off, forgot to get it off the photocopier. Someone's nicked it.
Play a record.
You've got to...
You know, it's just, Steve.
No, can I just say,
there's no
Carl,
point.
please,
There's no
if
point.
I say, let's have Cheeky Freak of the Week, and you haven't done your research, you haven't got the information, just tell us you can't do it. But don't lead us on.
Don't say things
in
like
this
on
charade.
radio, hold your hand up to me and go, how tall is that?
It's nothing,
That's
this is
radio.
nothing.
It's nothing. I think it was that big because he was leaning on an apple.
It's not enough information.
But imagine Trevor McDonald coming on, going, some news, some stuff, how big's that? How big do you think that is?
Yeah.
Because there was a fella, coming up after Chris Tarrant. Play a record. Carl, if you were president, would you sort of make it compulsory to maybe have a little monkey? Everyone has a little monkey of their own? Little chimps out and out, old age pensioners?
It's not a bad little, It's funny, you know, because there was a story the other day, when I was looking for monkey news. Right? There's a story about a couple who couldn't have any kids, right? There's something wrong with them, but they really wanted a kid. And they got some dodgy email address where they could buy a baby online, right? It was someone who would have a kid, and you could buy it for $3,000 or something, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, they got one, they got picked, and they're like, brilliant, there's the money. Got the baby and everything, they were loving it. You know, playing with it and stuff. As it got older,
Feeding it.
it got area.
Oh, shut the oh, Carl!
Turned out they'd been sold a chimp.
You maniac, you stupid mank twat.
How on
Don't
earth?
talk shit. That is as if that, what?
didn't know it.
Oh, don't talk. Are you mental? You
I love the fact
stupid.
that didn't make it into monkey news.
I know. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit sad though. We don't like to bring
They
the
bought
feature down.
Yeah.
But
And how
anyway,
long was this into? It got area. They're born hairy.
No,
They're not born like humans, then develop hair because they go. Hold on, we better get the chimp stuff kicking in now because we're in the jungle.
school photograph. They were like, hang on a minute. It looks a bit weird. With all the
Oh,
other kids.
you are just
Mad, innit?
the rubbish. Mad, innit? Mad, innit? Mad, innit? Imagine. Oh God.
But
Just
anyway.
imagine if he was in charge. We did put him in charge of the country.
Terrifying.
Wouldn't it be amazing? Let him run the country.
Just for a week.
Or the mayor. What would you do if you were the president or the Lord Mayor of London or the Prime?
Prime Minister Carl.
I wouldn't do it like he's going to be offered it. It's a hypothetical question, Carl.
No, but Suzanne was, right, my missus, if you're a new listener.
You keep her, sure.
Yeah, help her.
She was watching the news, trying to follow some heavy stuff. And I'm like,
The weather? What?
Do you know what I mean? I just was like bored, and I was reading about that mouse that had an ear on its back and stuff like that. So she said, well, you take notice of this. Should be, you know what Ricky and Steve are like. They try to teach you stuff, and you don't even want to learn. So to try and get me interested in it, she was like saying, what would you do if you're president and stuff?
Yeah.
And I can't be doing with any of it. It's
What did you
hassle.
come up with? You must
What would
have.
your slogan be?
What did you come up with? Did you come up with anything?
I had a little, the design of it, right? I said I'd have like red and blue, sort of, do you know what I mean? Both sort of major sides into one. to start
Well,
a
that's broken the back of it. That's a pretty good manifesto so far. Anything else? What's on the second page?
I had like, KP looks after me,
That would be the badges, would it?
yeah.
That's good. I'm a KP nut.
KP looks after me.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's about as far as I went with it.
What would you do? What about, you know, policies, transport, crime, you know, just law and order?
Yeah, what would you do, how would you deal with crime? What would your initial approach be? Would you introduce guns? Should police carry guns?
Nah.
No.
Nah. Would I have to worry about that?
Okay, no,
the Prime
good point,
Minister.
good point.
No, what I'm saying is that, I mean, Tony Blair isn't sorting everything out, is he?
No, but he has a say in most things.
Does he? Well, go on then. What are the problems at the moment that need sorting out?
Well, generally, what's the best way to combat? Would you bolster up the prison system? Would you introduce more community service?
Would you
put more bodies on the beat?
would you go harsher for say I don't know drugs? Would you go harsher or less harsh? There's pros and cons of
High or
both, isn't
low?
it? Because of course you can't see to condone it, but some people, you know, you don't want to go through the court system and cost taxpayers thousands of pounds of money for someone, I don't know, the difference between smoking a spliff and dealing crack. Do you know what I mean? You have to all these things. Have I lost you?
Yeah, I'd just think about it for a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
You think about it for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably ask Suzanne. Do you know what I mean?
This is amazing.
Get her help on it.
Yeah. Can
And
we
what about the foreign situation? Would you have supported Bush in his war on terrorism? You're aware of this war that we had recently?
Yeah. I mean, if I was new, though, couldn't I just say, look, new slate, do you know what I mean? Let's start again.
Yeah,
Right.
of course you can.
I'm in charge now, let's see if we can sort this out.
What would you do then?
Then see what happens. Just leave
Brilliant.
it. Just leave it.
Suck it and see.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
This is excellent.
Now,
So
this is not really your jurisdiction. This is not really your area, but I imagine you'd have some powerful friends who might have a say in it.
Go on.
Yeah. Would you? What would you do about single-sex marriages, same-sex marriages?
see,
Would
this
you-
got this Cameron. I thought Cameron had blown it on Big Brother because they said, you know, what do you think about gay fellas getting married? And he went, no, in the Bible it says, you know, a man and a woman. Not, and I thought, oh, he's put off a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't think many Christians tune into Big Brother, but we know the gays love it.
Yeah.
They love Big Brother, don't they? The gays.
Yeah, so interesting. But
So,
what would your take be on that? Same-sex marriages?
And then what? Having a kid?
Well, just let's start off with, you
Well,
know,
that's all right, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just let them get on with it. It's
Sure.
not affecting anyone else,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
right? But it starts getting tricky
Right.
when you get a kid.
Okay.
go on, why?
Well, it's just tricky, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you could be right. I'm not giving any. I mean, you know, we're not. There's no right or wrong
It's
answer.
alright
that-
if you were if you lived in the jungle, right, with no one else,
Yeah.
right, and you just had these two fellas, right,
Yeah.
looking after you, but because you got no one else looking in on that, saying, "Oh, you're a bit weird, aren't you?" Do you know what I mean? But
Right.
as soon as you come
So,
to,
why have they got married? Do you think the gay people turned to a bloke because they couldn't get a woman? If there's two fellas go away and they're in the jungle, they go, we're definitely not going to find a woman here. We might as well bum. That's not how homosexuality starts. People don't.
it makes
don't-
you wonder. If,
No, it does make you wonder. Gays don't go, well, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen a woman I fancy yet, I'll try a bit of knob.
No. But what I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in like a little jungle, right,
Yeah.
you
How are
wonder-
you brought up?
someone just puts you there.
I don't know what.
Explain.
I don't know
I
what
can't be
this is
bothered,
about.
Steve. I can't be bothered
Go
running
on,
the
mate. I'm
country.
listening. I'm fascinated.
I can't be bothered running the country. Like, I'm too much trouble for you.
KP takes care of me.
All right, then, fair
yeah,
enough. What
okay.
I'm saying is, right, if you're brought up in a jungle,
Right.
right, on your
What do you
own-
mean brought up?
Just let him finish.
What does he mean
You
brought-
understand
brought
what he
up,
means?
though?
Like Tarzan.
You've got to tell me what you mean by brought up. Wolves, chimps. What?
Right, well, there's a good example of what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Right, what I'm saying is, there's a fella, right, he's brought up in the jungle.
Shut up. Just let him finish. Let him finish.
There's no women about, he doesn't know about women, he doesn't understand what women are,
Right.
right? But another fella walks in the scene,
Yeah.
and he gets pally with him.
What does he talk about?
Then they've both got needs.
This scenario is ridiculous. How has he lived? Or do you know what's his reference
I
points?
can't be bothered with this. Honestly, Saturday should have been, day off and that, not worrying me about problems.
So, there we go. Carl as president. He's still confused, aren't you, Carl?
Just a little bit, sort of amazed
Yeah.
by the body.
Yeah. You're in
Just
awe of it, aren't you?
Just the way.
I'm amazed how two people can buy a baby on the internet for £3,000 and not realise it's a chimp till it goes to school.
No, but seriously, what would, you know, talking about there during Elbow and Fallen Angel, we were talking about that I think
Yeah.
if you're locked up, well, not locked up in a room, you've got a normal life, except there's no women in it.
Yeah.
Right.
But how would that happen? What would this point of reference be? How would you bring
Right,
up
hang
a
on a minute,
person
can I just ask you
and
something
totally
now?
go on?
How can infinite monkeys and a typewriter?
Right, again, I've told you before, right? That is not. You don't actually have to test that model. It's basically a model for that explains the nature of infinity. Okay.
Yeah, but
I've told you before. It works because of the definition of infinity. There's nowhere in the world you'll ever be able to get an infinite amount of monkeys and typewriters to
But anyway, all I'm saying is, I think if you don't know about women, would you crave for a woman, even though you don't know they're around?
when you hit sort of puberty, your hormones will kick in and you'd start getting urges.
But for what? If you don't know about it?
You don't have to know about it. You don't, if you grew up and you started feeling hunger, you wouldn't go, I wonder what that is. You'd go, get me a sandwich, I'm starving.
It's different though, it's different.
But I'm not, but we're not saying it's all hardwired or people can't change their natural state. We do it all the time. We fight nature all the time with conditioning.
God, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, well that's that one. I'll tick that. It's weird, isn't it?
No, the body is. There was something.
Yeah.
Did you read that thing the other week about?
Man with two penises?
No. We don't need that. We don't need that.
Lawyer who got in office realised he was actually an orangutan and they just shaved him and put a snooze on him from Hugo Boss. And the funny thing is, he won the case and the judge said, well, don't send him back to jungle. Let him set off on his own. Bodge, wibble and podge. You'd make the best judge in the world.
No, there was a fella.
Here's a banana.